record. Awesome. So thank you. Thank you so much, Courtney, for being here. It's been a pretty busy time, hasn't it?
It has. We've had the cyclone and all of the things, but we made it happen.
I know it's true despite life, because
All the
these are,
curveballs.
yeah, certainly I think such important things to talk about because you were just saying, which is why I wanted to hit record straight away, that you put it out to the universe that you want to be engaging more and connecting more. And certainly I have, well, look, when a random person on the internet just reaches out to you, right, and just goes, Hi, do you want to talk about what you do? You're probably wondering just a little bit about how the heck I got here. Uh, but
I
to
love
be
it.
honest, well, look, I'm a women's health coach and nurse and counselor and do yoga therapy with all the work that I do. And I was certified as a positivity coach on top of everything else that I do a few years ago through Dr. Paul Jenkins, who's in the US. And so since then, I've been doing work with him and work with colleagues and clients, all based in the US, right? Which has been wonderful and awesome. But I did have a moment, particularly over the last 6 months, where I was like, there's got to be my kind of people in Australia. Like, seriously, I live in Lismore too, like on the East Coast, which is, there are so many people around here that are really engaged in trying to heal and connect and just evolve and improve themselves. And so when I had this particular in my mind, you popped up on my Instagram feed and you started talking about emotions and how you were helping your children process emotions and then how you help other people. And I was like, I need to talk to her. That's a good place to start. Let's start with Courtney McCarty, who comes from a live from the Gold Coast. Am I right?
Yeah, yes, East Coast as well. And
Yeah.
yeah, and like I said, that was it. I'm like, oh, I want to, I guess I've been on this huge journey. I've been coaching since 22 in the space of inner work and more recently adding specifically emotional intelligence to my, bag of tricks. And, it's so great hearing all the things that you do. I feel like I've got different, aspects of my training around meditation and mindfulness. I'm a practitioner in matrix therapies, emotional change technique. I'm doing counseling studies at the moment. So I was like, oh, I just want to know more. And I guess, that the emotional intelligence aspect of being a human, right? Like I was so
Yes.
attuned to, oh, physical self, there's nutrition and there's moving your body and there's, all of that. That was my world for a really long time. I was actually a women's triathlon coach. So
Oh,
that was my
wowzers.
world. It was like my mantra was train insane or remain the same, right? There was like no feeling. It was like go hard, go home.
Oh,
And
wow.
having children that really broke me open. I just was discovering, well, there's a disconnect here. I can't just be so focused on my physical health. Like there's something's missing. And it really was a journey of
Mm.
going inward and working with lots of different people in my own healing journey, but then studying, researching, practitioner training. It's like that, it's the missing link. It's the emotional part of self. Obviously, mental as well. But yeah, it's just been such a huge part of my journey. And I'm just so passionate about it now. And just, with my kids, one's 6 and one's 8, I'm like, this is like imperative. I need
Yeah.
skills to support them. Makes my job as a mum a little bit easier.
Yeah.
It's wonderful to connect.
Yeah, that's wonderful to hear. And so tell me a little bit more about like that. I always love hearing people's epiphany moments when
Yeah.
they have that, like, can you, if you can't even pinpoint a moment or just a space in time when you obviously you had this experience of physical health and well-being, and then you realized that there was more to it and you wanted to delve into that. Can you tell me a little bit more about that and your
Need to
experience?
summarize it. I feel like there's so much, and I've shared my life, my journey online for 12 years. It was a lot around triathlon, and then it kind of moved into motherhood, and I did the influencer thing and all of that before I started coaching specifically in what
Uh-huh.
I'm doing now. But I
Right.
guess the journey was, pregnant with my first son, I still had my triathlon club. And I was determined, like, nothing's going to change me. Like, everyone says your world gets turned upside down. No way. I
Yeah.
coached my members. I trained everything till probably, 7, 8 months, something ridiculous, unicorn pregnancy. Had him, amazing, baby. The birth was what it was. I was back coaching on the bike 6 weeks postpartum. My
Wow.
first race when he was
Uh-huh.
12 weeks old, feeding him, in a portaloo. And I look back and I can really see such a big disconnect between my mind and my body, right? Like how I was really feeling. I was pushing those feelings away so hard, and I was doing it through swimming, running, riding, being of service to the women in my club. And I was really
Uh-huh.
connected to that like misalignment feeling and just feeling in general. So I pushed through, I managed that. I did come
Wow.
off my bike and had a crash when he was almost one. And that was, I feel, again, a universal kind of signal saying, slow down, like just slow down. Like, what do you really want here? So I did listen and I took a moment. And I guess what I, any gaps of time, I would always quickly fill it up. So had the crash on my bike, thought I need to take some time out of the club. I did that. And, 3 months later, I was pregnant with the next one.
Oh gosh.
And,
That's
and this is where the heaviness and the big kind of pivotal moments of like this something's not right within me, because I was
mm,
pregnant second time round. I had everything on paper, the success in my business, amazing husband, amazing marriage, financially, doing really well. It was like ticking all the boxes, yet it was like
mm,
something felt disconnected within me. And that pregnancy was quite challenging. I was unwell, I was hospitalized, I injured
gosh.
myself a bunch of times. So again, it felt like I was experiencing disassociation, I suppose, like a numbness, a
Yeah.
coldness within me. And then she was born, and again, I remember the pivotal moment of her being born, and like again, like me looking at myself from another place in the room, and again, this coldness, and I'm like, well, I should be feeling like what is happening.
Mm,
And
that should.
yeah, yeah, it was
Yeah.
like, what is
Yeah.
this gap, this what is happening? And then she
Yeah.
was a screamer, and she screamed for 6 months. So I feel like there was all this pressure. It was this pressure cooker, and I was cracking and cracking and cracking.
Oh.
And it was probably when she was about 9 months old where a friend actually said to me, they're like, you got to do something for you before you
Mm,
become kind of a shell. So that was really the invitation for me to go, okay, this is where I'm at. I need help, waving the white flag. And that really started my journey with, psychologist, counselor. I did all the woo-woo stuff, all the spiritual stuff, but everything was guiding me and showing me that I wasn't feeling. I wasn't feeling. I was doing everything
ah.
in my power to move away from, turn away from feeling. And I guess what I know now within myself and in the work that I coach is anytime we're in that state of discomfort, disassociation, shutting down, withdrawing, it's like a state of fear. What we're actually
Mm,
is, it's just a feeling. Like, can we just stop and sit with what is happening for me? Is there a feeling present? Can I connect to something in my body, a physical sensation, something? Can I, name it to tame it and sit with it? And so it was this real gentle journey of opening. And for me, within myself, learning how to feel safe in my body, because my body felt it felt like a really unsafe place to be, because
yes.
previously old court had created so many ways in which to control life, right?
Yes.
Certainty, and this is exactly how it's going to be. And it was
Huh.
so easy to do that before I had children, and children bring into the equation so much powerlessness, and like you
Yes.
lose control of so many things, sleep times, when you can sleep, eat, train,
Yeah.
all of so
Bodily functions, it just all goes out the window.
and all of that was all tied up in, I've had big feelings around all of those things. And I guess all of that was coming out in really unresourceful ways. I started to be quite angry,
Mm,
resentful, I guess, projecting all of these feelings I wasn't doing anything with. They were coming out in ways in which, as a mother and me showing up as the best version of me, it felt awful. And I'm like,
mm,
who I am. I could feel my emotional, volatility, instability, my inability to regulate myself. And it was showing up in my family. It was showing up in my marriage, in my children. They're yelling,
mm.
I'm yelling. So yeah,
Yeah.
like I need to do something about this. And yeah, it all came down to not being able to feel what was going on for me.
Yes. Okay. But now you mentioned like when you said you're in this place, you realized the words you actually used were that was my invitation. So you
Mm.
still must have had something intrinsic that knew that this was a point for you to
Yeah.
make or break. And you said, what did you say? So, name and tame. I love that. It's just to be able to identify what's happening and then to be able to, I suppose, look at it and decide what you're going to do with that and then move forward. What exactly are the processes you take clients through in the work that you do when people come to you with those kind of issues?
So we do a lot of kind of groundwork first to allow a client to feel safe to actually feel. And
Yeah.
again, this is based on my journey, how I've navigated it, but also utilizing specific inner work kind of foundational principles. So firstly, we kind of want to gain awareness around, well, what am I avoiding and what fears are present there that is creating the feelings. So we talk
Mhm.
about three fears. We talk about the fear of powerlessness, so the fear of being out of control. One of my
Yeah.
and normally, to avoid being out of control, what do? We try to have power over, we try to micromanage.
Mhm.
We can, shut down, withdraw away from loved ones. We can put all these controllable measures in place, control our food, create spreadsheets for everything, checklists for everything. So, these are all things that I used to do, and all I was doing was avoiding this feeling of being out of control.
Uh-huh.
That's a big one as mothers, as parents, right? Powerless.
Yeah. Yeah.
The second one is the fear of worthlessness. So that fear of not being good enough, right? Not good enough mum, not good enough wife, not good enough at work, not smart enough, whatever the thing may be. That fear of like deeply fearing, like as I am, I just don't feel good enough. I don't feel worthy. I don't feel valuable. I don't feel whole. And normally, when we're running that fear, that can look like that. And for me, this was real, that striving but never arriving, having everything on paper, yet feeling deeply unfulfilled, feeling lost, feeling like you don't really know yourself.
Mm.
It's that people pleasing and perfectionism, right? If I can be
Mm.
perfect and I can do everything perfectly, look perfect, do this perfect, then I'll be good enough, right?
Then, yes.
And
Yeah.
when I'm that size, I remember that, I'm like, when I fit back into those jeans, and I remember getting there, it's like, again, I have this. I thought when I get there, I would be happy. I would feel happy and good enough. I don't, because it's an inside job. We can
Uh-huh.
the external as much as possible, but it's all about what we believe about ourselves.
100%. Love it. Yeah.
That's the second of the three fears. And the third one is the fear of abandonment. And
Ah,
yeah, that fear of,
yeah.
if I stand in my integrity, if I use my voice, if I say, hey, I need help, I need support, or this is what's actually right for me, what are they going to think? Are they going to
Mm.
judge me, criticize me? And what we normally do to avoid that fear of abandonment is we abandon ourselves.
Mm.
Abandoning ourselves and our health goals, snacking on the snacks, eating the pizza when, again, and all these things are playing out. If I'm not feeling the feelings associated with the fear, abandonment, worthlessness, powerlessness, well, I'm creating, like, I've got a strategy that I go to. And normally the strategy isn't resourceful in me showing up as the best version of me, because I'm not honoring my needs. And it kind of just creates this shitty loop, right? Where we feel
Yeah.
shameful and beat ourselves up and we're angry and resentful. So I guide my clients to really notice, hey, when I'm having a feeling, like a negative feeling, where is it? Can I locate it? And can I allow myself to kind of connect with one of those three fears? Like, can I just connect with that, sit that, give it some gentle attention, a bit of a pause? And
Mm.
then like to ask ourselves is, well, what's the story here? And that's kind of adding into it, that belief aspect. So I'm feeling powerless. My kids aren't listening to me. I've asked them 5 times to put their goddamn shoes on. The story is they should listen to me. How dare they? They're so disrespectful.
Mm.
Interesting. Okay, what's actually real right now? They're kids, they're present, they're having fun. And what's real is, because I feel powerless over the situation, what I'm feeling within me is I don't feel safe. Only I can help myself to feel safe. So then we kind of
Yeah.
move into this ability to be able to self-parent and feed back into that inner child, perhaps who's hurting, what's actually real for us. But it starts with, the feeling, identifying what it is, sitting with it, giving that feeling some attention.
Yep.
Process of just sitting with a feeling, 60 to 90 seconds, if you allow yourself to feel it.
Yes.
And at
Yeah.
the end of the process, I invite them. I'm like, hey, come back into your body now.
Yeah.
How does your body feel? And they go, oh, that tightness, that red heat spiky in my chest from that feeling of being out of control. It's not there. Or
Yeah.
sometimes it moves, and it moves down to the tummy, and it's tight and it's yellow or it's green. And now I'm actually feeling not good enough. And, we move through the cycle again. Great. Not good enough. What does that feel like? Oh, I actually feel a bit sad, or I feel a bit lonely, or whatever the thing may be. So that's a process. But in amongst all that, we also want to get, clarity, and some, I guess, idea of, well, where did this first start? And so I liken it to kind of, let's connect with our emotional home, your emotional base. Where do you come home to, and how was that
Mm.
created? Because the cool thing is we can actually create a brand new emotional home for ourselves.
Yes.
But this is kind of us going back in time and thinking, when it came to me being angry or sad or using my voice, how was that, supported in the home? What
Mm.
to, express our feelings, all feelings, or were some shamed, some we were told to go to our room, come out when you're happy, what was accepted, what wasn't, what did we kind of make all of those earlier years mean, and how did we kind of adapt and create these strategies now for how we show up when it comes to feelings that we're currently moving away from. And then, we work through actually creating a new emotional home, because all of this for me is about, supporting women to create brand new emotional homes within themselves and their, physical homes like we're sitting in. As I,
Yes.
they really are, like, they're the heart of the home, and the ripple effect is felt far and wide. And I guess the mission and the vision really is so that their relationships, their marriages, their children aren't the collateral damage of their unhealed wounding, because it's there, right? And
Yeah.
it does shape the way in which we think, act, feel, behave in the present, but we get to change it. But sometimes it's just a little journey of and processing. So that's kind of a roundabout way of what I do. I get really excited.
Yeah. Which is wonderful.
Honestly, in the past, I was, any old friends would say I was Elsa. I was frozen. It was like, do not,
Oh, no.
do not cry. And I remember feeling, when I first started, feeling like this is never going to end. Like I'm never going to stop crying, and almost
Yeah.
walking around with my skin on inside out. But it's the best and most valuable work I've ever done.
Yes. That's so wonderful. And I guess if you haven't come across it before, it is really scary at
Yeah,
first. I certainly can relate to the not feeling safe. I
yeah,
100% had that experience too of going, oh, it doesn't feel safe to just be me in my body. And I love the analogy that you used about creating a home, an emotional home where
yeah,
you actually can go back to, you can feel safe and you can allow yourself just to process emotions. Because certainly I believe that emotions are like tools
yeah.
for us, that they're
Yes.
actually useful. They're things that will help us move through things and create better versions of ourselves. So I just love how you described all of that. It's so beautiful. And I think that once we can shine flashlight in a dark place, it sounds like that you have a similar outcome, that that's how you start to dissolve the heaviness and the bigness and the scariness of that experience.
Yeah.
And I just love it. So one of my questions was for you, like, how do you coach people through dealing with big emotions? But I think you've just explained it there, where you just help them to identify what it is and then sit with it and then look back at, like, how did we get here? And then identify if this is useful.
Yeah.
And then I absolutely love that you can then go forth and create a different space where you
Yes.
can feel safe. So I think that that's something that I don't think people, I don't know how many people really get that concept. Like intellectually, go, oh, yeah, I create my own reality. And like the thought work now and working with feelings is something that's not new as
Yeah.
such. Your thoughts create your reality, but I still don't think there's been a connection
Yes.
with
It's
actually how your feelings
yeah.
are involved in that.
Yes.
And then what do you do with that? And where is that space where you can then make a choice?
Hmm.
And it sounds like you actually help people to go into their old homes, their emotional homes, have a bit of a look around. You go, hey, you want to keep this interior?
Yeah.
You know, or do you want to like redecorate? And
It's a
when
good
people realize they have a choice, that's my experience. There's a choice, and
yes.
that can help dissolve things and to be able to help people move forward. So, oh, that's so beautiful. So, what do you feel then would be like my people, they're all menopausal people who are really feeling powerless. So, all of those three things that you said, the powerless, the unworthiness, and then the abandonment, it's all of those three things combined for sure. They feel like they feel powerless inside their body because they can't feel like they can't control what's going on inside. They feel worthless because they feel that after being alive on the planet for a certain period of time, surely they can be more beneficial to their families. And then abandonment, that perhaps the medical establishment or people around them, their doctors, their GPs, they're healthcare professionals. Nobody knows what to do with these women who don't know how to deal with what's happening on the inside. And I feel like you and I are on a similar path to really help people empower themselves to say that we have to go in. We have to go in first before we're actually going to be open to finding solutions.
Mhm.
What would probably be your biggest tip to my ladies who are really trying to find their way when they don't feel safe on the inside? Or just something perhaps that you feel that is something that you've said to your clients that's helped to really create the biggest lifting of the blinders or those little aha moments that sometimes can come through for them.
Yeah, I think, like we've probably touched on aspects of it, but I
For
think it
sure.
really is asking yourself, all those different parts of self, my physical body, my mental body, my emotional body. I know that the women that you help, it's like perimenopause, menopausal. It's like there's probably a lot of focus going into that physical. I guess it's sitting with and being real of like, how much attention am I giving those emotional parts of self? So while I can feel out of control and not good enough, and I'm abandoning myself or I feel abandoned, am I allowing time and space to feel that? Or am I getting busy fighting against it, getting angry, getting frustrated? I was talking about those strategies of avoiding all of those feelings. I
Yeah.
think it really is, again, this invitation to sit with. And there is like a basic little framework sometimes I throw out there as for someone just starting, something really, really simple. I just think pause. P is, can I just pause and sit with, like, I'm having a feeling. I'm feeling out of control, or I'm noticing I'm looking in the mirror and I feel not good enough, or there's that bit of jiggle, or, how am I going to get through this? And I'm having physical stuff happening in my body at the moment too. And it's been interesting for me to inner work some of this, but the pause of just sitting with, and can I just give that part of myself and that feeling some gentle attention right now? A is that acknowledgement, and we do a bit of acknowledgement work around and deeper self-parenting, but I feel just that acknowledgement of that part of self, like I see you, maybe it's like, how old am I right now? Like, how am I feeling? Like I'm here, this, present for me, 39-year-old woman. However, like I feel really helpless. I feel really unsafe. And I'm just going to acknowledge that, you know, the U is understand. Can I give a little bit of clearer understanding here around like what's actually going on for me right now? What am I making this mean about me? The fact that I feel out
Mm.
of control, or that, this isn't happening the way I would like it to, or whatever the thing may be. Like, what's actually real here? What am I making it mean about me? I'm useless. I should know better. I should da 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 da. What's actually real? What's actually real here?
Yes.
S again is sitting with, so bringing more attention. So we're kind of going up to the mind and finding out what the story is. But then the S is that sitting with. So again, coming down back to the body. Is something shifting? Is something changing? Again, just sitting with it, and maybe sitting with it for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes until it shifts, changes, goes. I don't know. Just give it gentle attention, just as a simple practice. And then the E is about taking that embodied action. So, what
Yes.
do I do? Do I need to call a friend? Do I need to go ground myself outside? Can I tune into my five senses? Do I tune to my breath? Like, what kind of action can I take? Am I calling that perimenopausal nutritional expert to support me? Yes, I've got all of these feelings and this feels so big. I'm going to give it attention. And then when I'm ready to move on it, once I've sat with it, go and do something, that is
Mm.
going to move you toward the vision of what it is that you're wanting to create in your life, in all aspects of self, in how you want to show up, how you want to feel. So that's always kind of just a real simple
That's
framework to
beautiful.
start with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
It's beautiful.
how often do we have the feeling and we just go do the thing? It's like we
What?
skip all of these steps, and this can be
Yes.
a couple of minutes, and it's a practice. I've got a program at the moment. It's just in its testing stages, but what I'm finding really beautiful is the women saying, I'm not so much, I'm becoming aware, but the first thing they're really noticing, it's like, oh, I'm really tuned into the physical sensations I'm experiencing in my body when I'm stressed or resistant,
Right.
or the kids are doing something. I'm like, great. Like,
Yeah.
noticed that before, because I just go straight to doing the thing, fixing the problem, writing the to-do list. And it's really this like, oh, yeah, like I don't know what it is, but it's there. I can feel it.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
feels uncomfortable. So then, in another few weeks, they might be able to then go, oh, that's there. And now I know that's like my powerlessness is always coming up here in my chest and my throat. oh, I'm noticing every time I don't feel good enough, it's my tummy or it's my heart. So, yeah, it's really beautiful. And I guess it's that bringing kindness and compassion to yourself, knowing that with this work, it is uncomfortable. It does use up energy, and it's something, it's a brand new skill for many of us in our 30s, 40s,
Yes.
50s. It's
Yep.
not work that as children we were taught, at school we were taught, that our kids are even being taught now. So
Yep.
give yourself, yeah, compassion that it's something new. And like anything, you don't go to the gym and just deadlift 100 kilos straight away. You need to
Yes.
just start gently and build up that kind of capacity to hold more and
Yeah.
yeah, be gentle with yourself.
Yes, that's right. And that's, well, one of the things that I've learned through this work is that it's like your feelings actually tell your body what to do.
Yeah.
And so if you don't have the capacity to be able to have that awareness that you're describing, that obviously your clients are having after a period of time, then you often, I hear people say, like, why do I do what I do when I know what I know? And because
Yeah.
there's no gap between those
Yeah.
two things, and you are just working on programming and autopilot. By having that awareness, by the sounds of it, your clients are having that experience where they're like, oh, this is how it feels, and then this is my experience, and this is how I show up in the world. And then that's just the ripple effect, isn't it, that it
Yeah.
has on the whole of everything that you're doing. And as you said, the women really are the centerpiece, aren't they,
Mm.
of, the hub that sort
Yeah.
of holds the glue together. It's my experience. I don't feel like it's a stereotypical thing to say. I think that it's my experience, and the experience of my clients that come, pending, of course, on your family unit, but certainly because of the female feeling aspect, then
Mm.
if we can't feel safe and have that awareness, then how do we show up in the world, and where do we go to from there? So, that's such a beautiful pause process to take people through, very tangible and something that you can just implement at any time. So it doesn't have to be astronomical, complicated, or difficult in any way. So I think that's such a
A
beautiful
lot of
place to start.
Yeah, a lot of the, any of the frameworks or the processes, I try to keep them simple, but also so that women can map them across to real time, right? I know myself, I've been learning to reparent myself while learning to parent real life children.
Yeah.
And so it's really beautiful to be able to kind of be parenting them and sometimes using versions of these frameworks to help them feel whatever's going on for them while I'm sometimes still having feelings about them having a feeling. I can be, self-parenting
Yes.
myself.
Tell me
So
more about that, because I did see that on some of your social media, which was you helping your children feel their emotions. And then, of course, we're feeling emotions at the same time.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
how do you do that?
I'll use my beautiful daughter as an example. She's 6 and she again has been a huge driving force behind me doing the work on me, but also for her as, not a sensitive child. She's so confident and she's so out there, but she feels really deeply. And that for me was kind of this bit of a trigger of like, oh my gosh, all these big feelings, can I hold space? And also connecting to like that past version of me who wasn't allowed to be that version of herself,
Yeah.
right? And me going, I really want to be able to hold space for her that so she doesn't have to dim to fit in and dull her light and dull her sparkle and all of that. So I guess an example would be, if she's having a really big moment of big feeling and there's a lot of screaming or crying or saying whatever the thing may be, I know straight away that I will experience powerlessness. So straight away, I can notice physical sensations in my body. I'm in that state of powerlessness, but straight away, I just go straight into self-parenting myself and telling myself that I'm safe. It's okay,
Mm.
sweetheart, I'm safe. I'm telling myself this internally, but with her, I'm parenting her. But, we use like a 3A process. We ask, acknowledge, and affirm. So I ask her, what's happening, sweetheart? Are you okay? I'm seeing that you're really upset. Can mummy do anything for you? Acknowledging her, acknowledging whatever she's feeling, and just it is what it is, and giving her words of affirmation. Mummy's not going anywhere. I'm just going to sit here, whether she wants to, be in contact with me or not. Just words of affirmation. I'm here, I'm not
Mm.
going anywhere. And normally, then, like for myself, I would ask that part of myself, those 3A's, I would ask, acknowledge, affirm what's actually happening for me within me. And then for me, depending on the different fear that I was experiencing, so for powerlessness, the antidote is always safety. How can I make that part of me feel safe?
Yeah.
Worthlessness, it's value. How can I make that part of me feel worthy and valued? And with the
Mm.
abandonment, it's it's love. So, again, I just map it across, and it's really beautiful to, co-regulate. And this was a huge part of my journey too, reading parenting books. How am I meant to co-regulate? I can't regulate myself. There is
Yeah.
something in this. I need to learn this and then share this with other women and mothers, because it was a huge part, that was missing. So yeah, I'm really about the mums and the women. I don't kind of go down the road of,
The
coaching to do
children.
with the kids, but I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, if I can resource and support these women to support themselves, I
Yeah.
know straight away the ripple effect is they will have more emotional capacity, stability, resilience to support their loved ones as well.
Yeah.
Not just the kids, but the husbands, right? There's so many husbands in our world with my clients. They're all learning to feel too. And it's incredible because it bridges that gap. They have deeper emotional intimacy. They're communicating more clearly. There's less distance, giving each other the cold shoulder, withdrawing intimacy, that silent punishment, covert
Mm.
contracts, when there's clarity and like, hey, sweetheart, I'm noticing I'm feeling really out of control here. Or, when you said that, it made me feel this, and I made it mean this, giving them
Mm.
the tools to be able to have conversations from the heart, opening their hearts up, being more vulnerable, knowing that vulnerability feels powerless and like there's abandonment coming up for me there. But if they can self-parent that within them, they can have the conversations they want to have in their family unit with loved ones, with mothers or fathers that they haven't spoken to for years and years. So yeah, it's a
The
beautiful.
ripple effect is
Yeah,
huge. And I think we underestimate the sponges that these children are and how much they really do learn simply from watching what we do. And so, if you are educating and supporting women and their husbands or partners to have these conversations, and whether or not they're having them in front of their children, then we're contributing to a whole new generation of children who are saying, oh, this is normal.
yeah,
This is
yeah,
normal to actually say, oh, I have this feeling. I feel it in my body. And then to be able to process it. So,
yeah.
Courtney, that is how we change the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, one
There we
family at
go.
a time. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. You did
Yeah.
say something else that I just wanted to pull out. Oh, when you said, what do you make this mean?
Mm.
I find that to be such a powerful perspective and a powerful question to ask anyone when they're having a feeling and then they've got a thought about that feeling.
Yeah.
What do you make this mean? And I feel like that's can be part of the root, personally, from being able to pull that out. And I don't know, do you find that things can change and that's okay?
Mm.
Because I think sometimes people think that they have to be consistent,
Mhm.
but we're not consistent. Our hormones aren't consistent. Our, emotions aren't always consistent. And I feel like in a way being able to isolate that question, what do I make this mean, really just brings it back to, and is that okay?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it may or may not be. It may be something we want to keep or something that we don't keep. But I just love that you said that a couple of times. And what do you make this mean? I'm like, oh, that is such a golden question to ask, which
Yeah.
you can do so, I suppose, more and more when you're dialing it down and being able to go within and feel it on the inside.
Yeah. Well, it's like, yeah, what am I making it mean? And is it real? Have you read any,
Yes.
like Byron Katie's four questions?
Yes, I love
Kind of,
Byron Katie's work.
yeah, kind of dig that
Absolutely.
into it. And I use it, like my daughter's really great. She's 6, and it'll be, oh, I didn't get included at school today and I was really upset. Oh, what did you make that mean about you, sweetheart? Oh, that
Mm,
like me and I'm this and I'm that. And I'll just say, oh, what's real? And she'll say, and we talk about, can we give our mind some evidence that you are a great friend and you are a great person? And it really is that highlighting to them. It's like, oh, it's creating that separation from like a thought, questioning it. Our thoughts are not fact, they're not always real. And
yes.
can we meet it and, name it, tame it if there's emotions to it, but also say, hey, mind, this is the evidence that I'm going to give you actually, that I am doing really great at sport, or I am really creative, or whatever the trouble is that they're having. Um,
Yes.
my son sometimes struggles with confidence, and we kind of have a bit of a list. Like we traveled Australia, so he knows it's like I rode my bike around Uluru and I swam with whale sharks, and I'm like, yeah, you did, boy. Like you can get out there on that soccer field, you can do anything.
Yeah.
So and it's great for us to do that for ourselves. And I guess my experience with myself and my clients, specifically with the inner work and developing more emotional intelligence and combining the self-parenting, is over time, my powerlessness, my worthlessness, it still comes up. It's like new
Uh-huh.
devil. but I can catch it and I can just say to that part of me, I'm like, hey, sweetheart, I know that in the past we used to think X, Y, and Z, but what we know now is this is actually true. And right now I'm going to give you evidence of that. And so I just take action and I do the thing. I feel the feeling because I've felt it and I now feel really safe emotionally a lot of the time. I can just take action rather than sit in the fear of procrastination, not doing the thing, sitting in my head, overthinking, 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 catching that and going, what's happening? And just move and take that action. And that is the evidence. The action is flexing the muscle and giving the mind evidence. This is safe. This is okay. I got
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, and that's where the choice lies. That is
Yeah.
so powerful. I love that so much.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, was there anything else that you particularly wanted to share or?
No, I think we covered a
I think
lot.
we've covered a lot. It's been a really beautiful conversation. It's
Yeah,
so
thank
nice to
you.
hear that there are people in Australia. I mean, I'm sure this is ridiculous. Of course, there are people in Australia, but I just haven't been able to connect with any. So it's so nice to be able to hear. It's like, oh, she's speaking my language. And
Yeah.
nice to know too that you're not too far away and that the work that you're doing, it really sounds like, I mean, as I said, we're setting little seeds and watering little seeds for the families for the next generation to normalize feelings and feeling your feelings and how that will actually benefit your experience of your life as well as the people around you. So thank you so much for sharing all of that. It's been amazing.
It has been. I mean, yeah, the goal is like just we want to make it commonplace, like it is to look after your health, go to the gym, keep your body strong, go to the dentist, get your 6 monthly cleans. It should just be every day. This is
Yeah.
our emotional health.
Yeah.
This is normal. So I'm really excited to be a part of that movement, and it's been great to connect with you too.
Yay, yay. Oh, wonderful. Oh, well, let's end the conversation there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.